sometimes as women, as young ladies, we sometimes don't want to listen to like our moms or our parents or our relatives when we're dealing with a guy. Um, and if a guy has ever been to jail or prison, most likely, 9 times out of 10, he will end up going back to jail or prison, and he's never gonna change. If he's ever like raised his voice at you, called you out your name, looked at you crazy, like degraded you, humiliated you, tried to control your finances, um, like basically living, leeching and parasitic, like living off of you and stuff, you know, that's he's never gonna change from that. And if he ever says anything romanticizing your like demise or like silencing or killing you, you know, you gotta take that seriously. Even if a person like says something about like I love you to death, like one of the last relationships I was in, he said that, and I was like, okay, and he started getting very crazy and stuff like that. So never romanticize when somebody is like basically saying like they'll kill you or they'll harm you and this that and the other, or they'll take a gun and they'll this with that. Like anytime they start talking about weapons, anytime they start talking about like you get away from them, but never announce that you're doing that. You know, I'm a domestic like violence survivor basically, and just never announce your departure, because when you announce your departure, they will literally try to go ahead and do what they like said they were gonna do or threaten. You know, you gotta make sure you put your own safety first. But to the starting point of all this is basically don't date anybody who's been to jail or been to prison. Don't date the bad guys. Don't romanticize that crap. It's not to be romanticized. I know they made movies, programming, conditioning, and just you know what I'm saying. Um, I ended up actually being homeless because I had let a guy live off of me and live with me. Never do that, because the love there's no love there, because I didn't love myself. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever let a man live off of you. Never do those sort of things. That was the first one of the dudes, and then the other dude was trying. I was like at a homeless shelter or whatever the case may be. I'm supposed to be there focusing on myself. You know, this dude comes around. You know, and then we're like I guess in a relationship at a shelter. Like nah, you know, like so. And I really truly believe that both of these dudes were like most likely warlocks and stuff like that. They delve into like that, like Masonic or like very dark, like occult type stuff, you know, and was most likely doing spells. One of like the last one I was with was like keeping my pads and like just doing kind of like these crazy things and stuff like that. So you know, don't romanticize that stuff. It could cost you your life. You know, I had like probably 2 times, especially when I was pregnant. The guy that I let live with me, he had kicked out like 3 windows the night, and I was like pregnant, and it's like my baby was inside of me, and he like kicked, and it was like I already knew right then and there it was time for me to run out of the house because I didn't want him to like kill me and stuff. So this happened 2 times with 2 dudes that have been there, known felons. Like they've been in and out of jail. They're never gonna change. So listen from me. I don't know who may need to hear this or know this, but never romanticize being with felons. Never romanticize being with the bad guys or even sometimes the nice dudes, because one of them, like you know, knowing them from like I guess high school, never knowing them personally, but these dudes will literally like some of these dudes will literally watch you for years. And if you reject them or don't acknowledge them or nothing like that, like they'll literally like watch you for years just to come into your life and sabotage you and sabotage it. To mess up your life and to mess up you. You know what I'm saying? Destiny swapping is real, but I mean, if you don't believe in it happening to you, then it can't happen. And just making sure that you never put somebody else on the pedestal above yourself. You know what I'm saying? You should always remain on the pedestal. Never put a man on a pedestal. Never let a man move in with you. Never let a man live with you. Never let a man live off of you. Never let a man ride or drive your car. He doesn't pay for it. It's not in his name, and damn well it shouldn't be in his name. Like, if a man is not actually like providing for you, don't, you know what I'm saying? And I had to go through these lessons to learn boundaries, to set boundaries, to stand firm on my nose and stuff like that. I literally had to go through these things. And I believe that since I was able to survive these things, I'm not meant to just keep it to myself what I've been through, but to actually fully express what I've been through, because my testimony, my story could actually help girls who are probably going through the same thing. But in any instance where he's raising his voice at you, he's calling you out your name, whether it's a curse word, whether it's saying you're stupid, or saying you shouldn't wear this or wear that, trying to control what you wear, trying to always ask you where you're at, calling you numerous times, texting you numerous times, accusing you of infidelity and stuff like that. Already know that the relationship or whatever you think it is sour. It wasn't real. It isn't real. And you just need to release it and just let it go. Let him go. Let what you thought you had, let go of the illusion. Let go of the desire. Let go of that light, because everything is basically on a spiritual level is energy. So if that energy and that energetic exchange, you know what I'm saying? If it's not aligning, if it's not beneficial to you and your safety and your well-being, your mental, emotional, physical, financial, spiritual, you know what I'm saying? I've been in situations with these like warlocks and with these men who've been in and out of jail, and they will literally siphon like your beauty, your light, your spark in your eye will like literally diminish. You'll start looking ghostly. Like, you'll start not wanting to eat. You'll stop like taking care of yourself. Like, I'm still not necessarily recovering, but I'm getting back to like, all my energies like return back to me times 10, like overflowing. But it's like, protect your energy at all costs. Like, the whatever's between down there ain't that important, you know what I'm saying? As you start to mature and stuff like that, especially with the frontal lobe cortex, like 25, 26 and beyond, like, you're basically, you start to realize your peace is more important than just laying up with a man or just having a man. Like, you got degrees you could be getting. You got cars you could be getting. You got houses you could be getting. You got money you could be getting. Like, you got peace of mind that you can have. You can relax. You know what I'm saying? Never let a man into your dwelling. Never let a man have a key to your place. Never let a man live with you. You deserve to have your own sanctuary, your own place to come back and unwind after you get off work, or go from your career, your job, or, doing your own business and stuff. You deserve to have a place to come back for yourself, not to be shared and stuff. You know, love and unconditional love is only for you and your children, like, and that's it. Other than that, you're not gonna find like love or unconditional love, only that from your kids and yourself. So that's why you and God, and you make sure you keep God first. And if you stay with God and stuff, God will give you the discernment. God will give you the intuition. God will give you that gut feeling to get up and leave. But don't never announce your departure, because that's when they go full throttle, and they ready to like try to take you out or silence you or whatever the case may be, just because, like, you know what I'm saying? They living off of your energy, your life source and stuff like that, and they know that's what they're doing. When they accuse you of the cheating and stuff like that, that's actually what they're doing. That's not what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You're constantly getting like burned and stuff. That's why I don't deal with men who've been in jail and been in prison also, because we already can kind of know. I mean, that's self-explanatory, but, going constantly to the doctors, getting burned and stuff like that, and they're saying that they're not cheating, but they're accusing you of cheating. No, they're cheating. And most of the time, they're not really even probably cheating with a woman. It's probably a man. You thinking it's a woman, it's a man. I've been through it. Like, majority of the men that I've dealt with were DL, were closeted, were actually sleeping with other men or whatever the case. But I will never in my life ever deal with that ever again. I'm just letting my testimony and letting my story be known so that you don't make the same mistakes and repeated patterns and lessons that I went through that I actually had to pass. I just actually had to go ahead and pass because it wasn't going to benefit me constantly, doing the same thing and over and over and over again and never changing is what insanity. To make the same choice over and over again and never change is insanity. So with that being said, I wish you well. Always put yourself first. Always choose yourself. Focus. Prioritize your beauty. Prioritize going to the gym. Your fitness. Prioritize eating good. Prioritize spoiling yourself. Get that. Go get that. Go after that job. Go after that career. Go after. Get that car. Get that house. Do whatever you want. Be okay with being alone. You know what I'm saying? This time, God actually sat me down. I actually set myself down as well, and I dealt with being alone. Like, I'm okay with being alone. Being alone isn't the end all be all. You're not going to fall over. You're not going to die. You're not going to, just because you're alone. Come on now. You're actually going to stay alive by being alone because a lot of people, they're unhealed. They lack emotional intelligence, awareness of themselves. They most likely going through situations of childhood trauma. They haven't healed. And hey, don't even get me started. You're not nobody's matriarch. You're not nobody's savior. You're not here to save these men. These men need to save themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you come into the world by yourself, you leave by yourself. So keep that in mind. Like, don't try to save nobody. Everybody has the mind, so everybody should have the capability to be able to utilize it. Why must you be the only person utilize your mind in the relationship or provide or do all these things? Never provide for a man, never save a man, never build up a man, because all he's going to do is tear you down and resent you after for doing it, because you're going to remind him of how he was incapable of doing it for himself. So with all that being said, set boundaries, have standards. And if a man doesn't have anything for himself, he's been to jail, he's been to prison, don't give him a chance. Because if he's been to jail, if you've been to prison, 9 times out of 10, there's more repeated offenders than not and stuff like that. And it's just like the bottom of the barrel. You don't want to be dealing with that. But I don't know what drew me to make these videos that I've been doing, especially this one. But never romanticize bad guys. Never romanticize guys who talk about who are hyper masculine and want to always beat up other people, and it's inner demons they're fighting, and it might just be that their sexuality basically. But never put a man before yourself. Always keep God first. Focus on yourself, and if you got children, prioritize them. You know what I'm saying? Prioritize yourself so then you can prioritize your kids, so you can sleep good, eat good, make sure you're taking care of yourself so you can be at 100% for them. You see what I'm saying? And yourself. So I thank God for allowing me to be able to have survived those spiritual attacks and just, being able to move forward from it. And just me airing out my dirty laundry or skeletons in the closet may actually save somebody else's life who's second guessing if they should stay in a toxic relationship. But, only toxic relationships become toxic because you're being toxic to yourself and you're not setting boundaries or you're ignoring the red flags. I ignored the red flags and it almost cost me my life. But you, if you're watching this, you can actually acknowledge the red flags, disassociate yourself, never announce your departure from them. Just move in silence. You know what I'm saying? And this is why you never let them move in with you, because if things do get crazy, you don't want them to know where you live. If they don't know where you live, this is excellent. This is perfect. This is good, because now you ain't got to worry about him popping up, kicking your windows out. I had a situation where the child's father, he had kicked my windows out when I was like about almost 9 months pregnant, about to have my baby. My baby kicked in my stomach. I had left. I had ran from the apartment all the way to the sheriff's office. Obviously, they didn't do nothing to him, but I decided he had even threw like an extension TV cord at my head while pregnant. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So I basically decided to stay in the hospital all night just so I wouldn't be nowhere near him. So I ended up losing that same exact apartment because I let him move in with me. I had to leave because I had to leave the apartment as well, just for my child's safety as well as my own. And yeah, and this previous one, this dude, like basically, I'm really perceived that these are like warlocks, like and they're fighting inner demons, like basically sexuality, and he had cut my like hair off this one that I just left that I actually even ended up getting married to, like mind control. Anyways, but I ended up divorcing him, which I'm grateful that I was able to divorce him in time and stuff like that, knowing these new laws. But he had chopped off all my hair, y'all, and I don't know if y'all could really actually see the scar. Yeah, I used to have like a lock because he had locked my hair. Like, if a person never allow anybody to touch your hair, you see? But he had locked my hair, and it's like something was telling me, my intuition was telling me when he locked my hair that one time he did a lock right there, he was about to do some weird, crazy stuff. He ended up chopping off my hair, and I had like a lock right here, and he cut like my scalp pretty much open. You know what I'm saying? So it's like never stay in a toxic relationship. There was times when he strangled me and stuff, so if they ever raise their voice at you, if they ever look at you crazy, if they ever raise their hand up at you, if they ever put their hands on you, if they ever even strangle you, if they ever say like, I'm going to kill you, and they laugh and joke with it, no, there's truth in that. If they ever say, I love you to death, like this one that I divorced said that, and like I got away from him. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful I did. So never romanticize that. That's not something funny. That's not something cute. And God has so much more for you if you trust in God and not in the men like these men that I described. You know what I'm saying? God has someone for you, but it's definitely not that. You're not desperate. You're not needy. You're not clingy. You don't need that. You need yourself and God. And you will make it further in life than you ever would with that man that you think that you need. So, with all that being said, I hope I touched on everything. I hope that when whoever sees this, that it helps them in the situation. If they're deciding if they should leave or not, leave. Just don't announce it. Because when you do, you're giving them the blueprint. You're giving them the playbook on how to play you and try to play you out of existence. You see what I'm saying? You're not meant to save these men. They have to save themselves. If they never save themselves, whoop-de-doo, you saved yourself. You got up out of there. You gotta love yourself. And you can't allow people just to walk all over you, control your money, control your own apartment, your own house, your own living. So, with all that being said, I love y'all. I'm Infinite, and yeah, I actually went through 2 times of these DL like warlock men fighting their sexuality. I got burned by a couple of them. Oh, the 2 that I'm describing, and they were the one that I divorced. He basically was saying like always accusing me of cheating, but he was the one that was cheating, and not all the time. You would think they're cheating with a woman, they're actually cheating with a man, and that's why you're contracting these diseases anyway. You know what I'm saying? And don't even get me started on the fact that you can't stay with a man who's fighting inner demons and sexuality, because you could contract some like disease that you can't get rid of. You don't want that for yourself. You shouldn't. It could be HIV, it could be AIDS, the chlamydia, gonorrhea, herpes, like syphilis, all these things. You don't want to deal with that. So please, 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 if you're in a situation like what I've described, and the signs, the red flags are there. Let me run down the red flags again. So you'll know. If they ever raise their voice at you, if they ever look at you crazy, if they ever even think to raise their hand or talk about raising their hand or hitting you in a jokingly manner, if they ever raise their hand, if they ever like strangle you, if they ever physically put their hands on you or anything like that, if they ever hit you or whatever the case may be, if they ever try to gaslight you, you know what I'm saying? And also, if they ever try to get you to participate in illegal activity. The one that I like divorced, he ended up trying to give me like substances and stuff in front of like at a gas station, like not a gas station, but at the bus terminal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like basically trying to sabotage and plot and ruin my life. This is why you don't date felons. This is why you don't date people who've been to jail or who've been to prison. You know what I'm saying? Or who fighting their sexuality, their DL, or their closet. They don't live in their truth. So if a person don't live in their truth, you can't be around them. If you live in your truth, why are you being around somebody who's not living in their truth? If they ever try to control your finances or say, your money is their money, or owe you big money or something, the red flag, red flag, red flag. If they ever try to get a lease with you, at some point, I was at a homeless shelter because, I with my child's father, my child's father basically. I ended up losing my apartment because I had to leave my apartment because he was doing, like, he had already kicked out the windows or whatever the case may be, so I had to leave. So I ended up leaving, going to a whole different area and stuff like that. So when I came back, the bills were piled up and I didn't have the funds because he was controlling like my funds, but it's only because I allowed it. These situations are highly, highly preventable. Disclaimer, they're highly preventable. If you love yourself enough, you won't allow anybody to do that. I have learned to love myself more than men in a full totality. You know what I'm saying? So set boundaries, know your standards, never discuss your standards openly because men will literally you're giving them the playbook on how to play you. They'll know how to pretend to be just to get what they want from you, and then they'll leave you, or they'll like try to harm you, whatever the case may be. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But yeah. I think I've kind of ran down everything. These are a lot of gems in here and from real life experiences. Take them, use them wisely. Always put yourself first. Never put nobody above you, but never put nobody above God. Never idolize anybody, cause that just, you asking for it then. You always come first, not a man. Because a man's gonna always do whatever he feels is best for him. So why not do what's best for you? You are like the prize. You are the. And whatever a man doesn't have, he's not gonna allow you to have it either. That's why don't be with a man who doesn't have nothing and doesn't have nothing to offer you. So I love you. If you watched it this far, this was a pretty long video. I got very vulnerable and open, but I feel like, well, if God, like, if I'm still like alive after this, all this crazy stuff that I went through, spiritual warfare, roadblocks, and just, people literally, the dude literally that I was with trying to literally try to take me out. Why not express that? It could save somebody else's life. Why, no need to be selfish with that. And no reason, and this is like a releasing for me of transmutation of energies, and it's with good cause and no harm to none. But I hope you have the courage to leave the relationship and not stay, because it could cost you your life. You're better off leaving the relationship, leaving your apartment, leaving your place, leaving money, leaving everything, just to ensure that you have your life, because you cannot get all that back. I just told you, like, I went through an eviction because I dealt with the wrong guy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, trust that you got this, and I'm living testimony for you. I got evicted from my apartment. My child's father, he abused me while I was pregnant. He knocked me out while I was pregnant in the apartment that I was like letting him stay. Like, never, never. And on these day naps too, stay off these day naps, because a lot of the men be on these day naps, DL closeted men, and they're felons, and they've been to jail, and they've been in prison. It could be murderers, they could be serial killers, they could be predators, they could be rapists, they could be anything. You don't know what you're getting. And don't invite them into your house. Never invite them to your dwelling. And with all that being said, I am Infinite, and I love y'all, and love yourself, and put yourself first, and keep yourself on the pedestal. Don't put a man on the pedestal ever. I don't care. Put yourself on a pedestal, and if you have children, love your children. Be there for your children. That's all that matters. So with that being said, I love y'all, and y'all be good. Bye.